EU is the country code top-level domain for the European Union. Launched on 7 December 2005, the domain is available for organizations in and residents of EU member states. The TLD is administered by EUROD, a consortium originally consisting of the national CCTLD registry operators of Belgium, Sweden, and Italy, joined later by the national registry operator of the Czech Republic. Trademark owners were able to submit registrations through a sunrise period, in an effort to prevent cyber-squatting. Full registration started on 7 April 2006. History. Establishment. The UTLD was approved by ICANN on the 22nd of March 2005 and put in the Internet Root Zone on the 2nd of May 2005. Even though the EU is not a country, there are precedents of issuing top-level domains to other entities, e.g., NATO. See also GEOTLD. U.int was the subdomain most used by the European Commission and the European Parliament, based on the .int generic top-level domain for international bodies, until 9 May 2006. The EU domain was launched in December 2005, and because of this most EU.int domain names changed to Europa.eu on Europe Day, 9 May 2006. Sunrise period. The sunrise period was broken into two phases. The first phase, which began on 7 December 2005, was to facilitate applications by registrants with prior rights based on trademarks and geographic names. The second phase began on 7 February 2006 and covered company, trade and personal names. In the case of all Sunrise applications, the application needed to be accompanied by documents proving the claim to ownership of a certain right. The decision was then made by PricewaterhouseCoopers Belgium, which had been chosen as the validation agent by EUROD. On 7 February 2006, the registry was opened for company, trade and personal names. In the first 15 minutes, there were 27,949 total applications, and after 1 hour, 71,235. Landrush. On 7 April 2006 at 11 a.m. CET, registration became possible for non-trademark holders. Most people requesting domains had asked their registrars to put their requested domains in a queue, ensuring the best chance to register a domain. This way, more than 700,000 domains were registered during the first 4 hours of operation. Some large registrars like GoDaddy and small registrars like Dotster suffered from long queues and unresponsiveness, allowing people to beat the queue by registering through a registrar that had already processed its queue. By August 2006, 2 million EU domains had been registered. It is now the fourth largest CCTLD in Europe, after the UK and NA, and is one of the largest internationally. Bob Parsons, CEO and co-founder of GoDaddy, criticized the land rush process designed by EUROD. Particularly, he condemned the use of shell companies by some registrars. In his blog, he stated, "These companies, instead of only registering their real active registrars, created hundreds of new, phantom, registrars." Parsons cited a group of about 400 companies, all with similar address and contact information based in New York, each registered as an LLC. In his opinion, these were phantom registrars, created to hijack the EU land rush. These phantom registrars effectively had hundreds of opportunities of registering a domain, whereas a genuine registrar effectively only had one opportunity to register the same domain. Thus, some registrants were crowded out of the EU land rush process, and many generic EU domain names are now owned by the companies using these phantom registrars. Patrick Lindeen, spokesman for EUROD at the time, denied the allegations by Parsons, stating that EUROD verified that each registrar was an individual legal entity. Each had to sign an agreement with us, and prepay €10,000. Parsons didn't dispute that each registrar was a separate legal entity. but noted that creating such entities was trivial. Mr. Linden seemed proud that the URID registry verified that each applicant was a legal entity before it was accredited. Take a moment and think about what that means. You can form a legal entity for $50 an LLC, and you're good to go. Is that what we want a registry to do? Don't we want them instead to make sure that the organization it allows to provide end users with its domain names, especially Europe's very own domain name, are actually in the domain name registration business? The URID organization investigated some allegations of abuse, and in July 2006 announced the suspension of over 74,000 domain names and that they were suing 400 registrars for breach of contract. The status of the domains was changed from active to on hold. This meant that the domains could not be moved or have their ownership changed. The registrars also lost their access to the URID registration database, meaning that they could no longer register domain names. The legal action relates to the practice of domain name warehousing, whereby large numbers of domain names are registered, often by registrars, with the intention of subsequently selling them on to third parties. URID rules state that applications for domains can only be made after a legitimate application has been made to a registrar. The 74,000 applications were made in the name of only 3 Cyprus-registered companies: Olvidia Limited, Fausto Limited and Gabino Limited. The affected registrars, joined in the action by the affected registrants, obtained a provisional order from the Court of First Instance in Brussels, Belgium on 27 September 2006. The court ordered URID to release the blocked domain names or else pay a fine of €25,000 per hour for each affected domain name. URID complied with the court order and changed the status of the domains from on hold to active and restored URID registration database access to the affected registrars. The main legal action, that of URID seeking the registrar agreements between URID and the registrars in question to be dissolved, has still to be heard. Used by the European Union institutions. The second-level domain, europa.eu, has been reserved for EU institution sites, with institutions and agencies making the switch from EU.in to europa.eu domains on the Europe Day of 9 May 2006. The European Central Bank is however not under the Europa umbrella, due to its political independence, and uses only ECB.int, but ECB.europa.eu is an alias. Actual use. The main users of EU domains are websites with pan-European or cross-border intentions and audiences. It is often used to emphasize the European identity of a website, as opposed to the website having a strictly national ccTLD or global.com nature. Alternative uses include Basque web pages and Romanian, Portuguese, or Galician personal sites, as EU is the equivalent of the English pronoun I in those languages. In most countries of the EU, the national ccTLDs have the major share of the market, with the remainder spread over .com/.net/.org/.info/.biz. As a result of this, EU has had an uphill battle to gain a significant share of these national markets. The dominant players tend to be the national ccTLD and .com. The other TLDs such as .net, .org and to a lesser extent, info and .biz have progressively smaller shares of these national markets. Over 1 year after the launch of EU, the number of domains registered was 11,079,557 according to the German registry's statistics page, while number of German-owned domains according to URID's statistics page was 796,561. The number of UK domains registered was 6,038,732 according to UK Registry Nominet's statistics page. The number of apparently UK-owned domains was 344,584. Parking and redirects. Some domain registrants use their website as a web portal containing a list of their national websites with national ccTLDs. Other registrants have registered a domain name to protect the brand name of their main website or domain, and redirect visitors to their pre-existing national ccTLD or .com website. 12.8% of websites are parking pages with pay-per-click advertisements. ISPs and web hosters will often point unused domains to a parking web page with PPC advertising. This percentage does not include domains that are pointed to holding pages or not set up in DNS. 26% of domain names are redirects for existing national ccTLD or .com websites. Domain name speculation, domain name warehousing and cybersquatting are always features of the launch of any new TLD. However, this was more widespread in the case of the new launch, as seen below. According to page 20 of URAD's annual report for 2006, the breakdown of domain ownership figures on the 31st of December 2006 was: registrants with more than 10,000 domains. 6. Registrants with 5,000-9,999 domains. 18. Registrants with 1,000-4,999 domains. 64. Registrants with 100-999 domains. 1,257. Registrants with 10-99 domains. 20,886. Registrants with 6-9 domains. 22,933. Registrants with 5 domains. 13,200. Registrants with 4 domains. 23,007. Registrants with 3 domains. 42,887. Registrants with 2 domains. 115,543. Registrants with 1 domain. 610,679. The number of registrants with 5 domains or fewer registered in a ccTLD was, according to these statistics, 805,316. These registrants accounted for 1,128,454 domains out of 2,444,947 domains registered as of the 31st of December 2006. It had been actively targeted during the sunrise period by speculators using fast-track Benelux trademarks to create prior rights on various high-value generic terms, and during the land rush by speculators using EU front companies in the UK and Cyprus to register large numbers of domains. While speculative activity occurred with the launch of other domains, it was the scale of the activity that called into question the competence of URAD in protecting the integrity of ccTLD. The number of domain registrations during the year after the land rush, the 7th of April 2006 to the 6th of April 2007, seems to have peaked at approximately 2.6 million domains. The market adjustment that follows a land rush in any domain name extension ensures that the number of registered domains will fall, as many speculative domain registrations that fail to be resold will not be renewed. This is sometimes referred to as the junk dump. On the morning of the 7th of April 2007, the number of active domains stood at 2,590,160, with approximately 15,000 domains having been deleted since the 5th of April 2007. Approximately 1.5 million domains were up for renewal in April 2007. The URAD registry software is based on the DNS. B software, and domains are physically renewed at the end of the month of their anniversary of registration. This process differs from more sophisticated registries like that of .com TLD and other ccTLDs that operate on a daily basis. As with any post-land rush phase, an extension shrinks as the junk dump takes effect. The extent of the shrinkage of UCCTLD is difficult to estimate because Euro does not publish detailed statistics on the number of new domains registered each day. Instead, it provides only a single figure for the number of active domains. The number of new registrations are combined with numbers of domains registered. Approximately 250,000 new domains were either deleted or moved into quarantine by the 30th of April 2007. In the intervening years, the renewal rate has stabilized to approximately 80%, which is above the industry average.